Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And Amber Heard, isn't she the gift that just keeps on giving? Admit it, you haven't been this entertained for years. Well, I haven't anyway, so we're going to be looking into it. And there's so much to be looking into. Of course, we've got these court documents that have been unsealed. We've got this interview with Gia exposing these satanic themed parties. We have got, what else have we got? Amber Heard's baby. There's been a lot of chat about Amber Heard's baby, not seeing the baby's face, and is the baby being swapped out? And I've also been asked a question about Johnny Depp. So we're back with the tarot once again, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So let's get on with it. Yes, we're back again, and I just want to let you know, I apologise if the video is not great quality. I have had huge technical issues. I won't bore you with the details. Huge technical issues. I have done the best that I can to set something up, but I'm running on a camera with no external mic at all. I've got another camera that I'm going to be using, but this is the first time I've used it, so I don't know how good that's going to be. I don't know whether we're going to get the cards in a separate box or not, or whether I should just hold them up. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes, so bear with me please. But let's just get on with looking at these. Well, let's start off with the court documents, shall we? Now, there was, let's have a look at my notes, because I've got notes because I'm so forgetful. 6,000 pages of court documents. I'm sure you know all about this. I'm not going to go into the details. There's thousands of videos out there, I know, that are going deeply into what's in these documents. What was flagged up to me with two main things. One was a lot of it was exposing the UK trial and this Judge Nichols, which we know he was swapped out right at the beginning, and we know that that's going to be a sign that this is a dodgy judge, and we know it was because of the outcome. There was a lot of dodgy stuff going on with Amber's witnesses as well, apparently. But most importantly, I want to be looking at this huge media bias that people are really starting to pay attention to, and people are really starting to dismiss the media. Now, I'm not going to be able to get through all of this because we've got this House in Hab interview with Gia to look at as well, and like I said, I was asked a question, plus looking at this Amber Heard's baby. Now, I don't know, I'm going to try and squeeze it all in. I don't know how well this is going to go. We're having a heat wave here. I've had to shut the windows because the kids are on holiday and the kids are running up and down the street playing. So it's about 1,000,000 degrees in here. So I may end up looking like a beetroot by the end of the film. But I'm going to just do what I can, okay? Now let's start off, shall we, with just a general overview, how we normally do. How has the exposure of these court documents, or the release of these court documents, affected people's view in terms of what has been going on, shall we? I think we're ready actually. Let's just do it. Right, I hope you can see all of them. I've had to squish them up. Like I say, I've got technical issues. I believe this has really shifted some stuff. This is really working. I get that, like me, the population are happy to have more information coming out, and I get as well the white hats have been very happy to be able to use this to bring more exposure to this. Certainly the lies and deceit are coming out here. They've just carried on with the tactic that they've been using so far with this trial. The lies and deceit are coming out. Now, I keep having Amber Heard showing up as the fire sign lady. Lies and deceit from her. I think most black hats we can assume use the exact same thing. Obviously she's a narcissist, but I can't imagine there being many black hats that don't have that overextended ego, to be fair. Best course of action, this would be for the white hats or for us. Okay, this is a message just generally here, because this is the best course of action. Just have faith. This is a lot about having faith and also going into that emotion. Now I'm going to be looking at awakening and how to move through it. That's my next project. I've been told that is my next project. How do we awaken? How do we get into that in a practical, down to earth, day-to-day way? It's all right being told, oh, just get in, you know, just get into happy, just get into joy, just get into spirit. But how do you actually do that and change those thought patterns? They've brought that up here. I'm not just plugging what's coming up. It's generally here. I also believe that this is a little bit about the white hats as well. I just got a glimmer of light, the light at the end of the tunnel. I wonder very much whether this really has been the white hat's glimmer. And one thing I did think was, and I'll get onto this, but while I've got it in my head, when they were exposed, when they were bringing out all this Gia interview and, you know, the prostitutes and the themed parties and the drugging people and the having sex with underage people, and everyone was all so shocked. And if you're a truther, of course, that, you know, that's that icing on the, well, it's not icing on the top of the cake, you know what I mean? It's not a good thing, is it? But that's the thin layer on the surface. And if it hadn't been brought in like this, I wonder how shocked people really would have been. So probably is better like this, actually. That was certainly one of the thoughts I had. Something here tells me they've got a plan. This has really sped things up and they've got a new plan. And I get this is about how they're going to move things forward. This has really sped things up, this turn here. I know a lot of light workers have been doing a lot of energy, raising their energy. Obviously we're helped with all the solar flares and the light beams, etc. And obviously the Christ grid and the Saturn Christ, Saturn Christ grid. And if you don't know what that means, there's a YouTube video I've already done on that, and I'm pretty sure it's in the title. Let's just, I know they can't give us the exact plan, obviously, but let's have a look what this new plan is. It's new plan. They've had to let go of their old plan and hold him back because stuff has really come up. Yeah, new, fresh. So happy with this. They're so excited with this. They've got to work on it a little bit more. That's the obstacle. It's not going to be immediate, but it is bringing things forward. Is bringing things forward. Oh, they're really happy about this from what I'm seeing here. Let me just have a look what this moon is all about, because the moon's generally about not seeing things clearly. The star to me is about dreams and wishes coming true. It's very Aquarius. It can also indicate our starseed family or off-worlders. This obviously is the deep state, dark cult and walking away. I wonder from this very much whether there's going to be a stepping up now, whether we're ready to step up. I wonder whether this plan is even going to happen. If the off-worlders are just going to be stepping up and certainly removing any deep state dark cult. Let's have a look at this. It's fascinating. This I'm enjoying. I've missed this, not doing the Johnny Depp Amber Heard. I wonder whether we're going to get this into one video, whether this is going to be 2 videos. So, what on earth were they talking about? Off-worlders and the deep state dark cult. I'm just going to do a 7-card horseshoe for this. I just got starseed activation. I was kind of getting the image of more sightings, if I can put it like that. Increased sightings. Now I know I've been contacted by my starseed families, but well, on a physical level, but on a, let's call it a psychic level as well. And I know without any doubt a lot of other starseeds have as well. If that's increased, it would become less of a shock when this actually happens. I get that the white hats now, I mean, they have taken authority, they are moving forward. I'm not saying that their activity is going to stop, of course it's not. Of course their sterling work is not going to stop, of course it's not. But I wonder whether we're going to be taking a turn here. I've certainly noticed more videos going up about an increased level of activity, let's say. And actually I wonder whether the white hats are going to be quite happy when this happens. I don't believe it's going to be a huge thing. I don't believe it's going to be the fake invasion thing that some people mentioned. Not at all. I think it's going to be quite slow. And I think they're certainly going to be targeting starseeds first. From when I got starseed activation, a lot more starseeds awakening and becoming involved in, let's say, the process, shall we, of awakening. I don't think it's going to be a huge thing. I think it's going to be dripped in, but I get there's going to be a lot more about that, and I wonder whether this starseed activation is going to be bringing up the topic more openly discussed about the deep state dark cult, because obviously the real history of the world, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I've done videos on this as well on YouTube and on my website, involving off-worlders is obviously going to be a huge part of this. I didn't expect that at all. That was not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting some information about how this is waking people up, but okay, that's great. This is all great. I love doing this stuff, it's so wonderful. That wasn't really much about the documents at all, but I know from that what they're saying is, yes, it has shifted things so much that we're now ready to take the next step, and everybody involved, off-worlders and white hats, are seeing that. Yeah. I'm not going to ask any more questions on that documents actually, because I get that that's obviously the exposing of the mainstream media and the turning away of people from the mainstream media. I've got all kinds of notes on stuff that was going on, but I get that that's not really relevant now. Let's have a look, because this is separate. I get that it's all the same thing because it all came through at the same time. This interview with Gia, because this has been all over social media and YouTube as well, and these satanic themed parties, and I thought, what a wonderful way of exposing it, going in with they have been doing the black hats, obviously I'm talking about, we didn't get that, they have been kind of taking part in these parties. I don't need to tell you what was said by Gia. It's all over the place. You must have seen it, you must have heard it. Let's just see what impact this is having, because I got, wow, this is such a great idea. This is kind of shifting people's understanding of what's been going on quite hugely, without going in for the kill and kind of shocking half the population of the world to death. So let's have a look at how it's worked and what Spirit have to say about this generally. This is actually quite funny. A lot of people are saying that it's not true, saying that they don't believe it, but it has shifted perception quite a lot. If you get into any kind of conversation with anyone who's saying they don't believe it, or they're just making it up or whatever, don't be disheartened. People are arguing against it, but it has gone in. It has been accepted generally. Yeah, this really genuinely has been a turning point. This really genuinely, this whole thing, particularly this, has been a turning point. Particularly with both things coming out at the same time. Of course, I've just realised I was confused when these things came out, because I was hearing about these satanic themed parties, and it was like, well, how is this in the court documents? Because they both came out at the same time, as far as I was aware anyway, and I'm sure other people felt this as well. And it's kind of like, with the two things combined, it really genuinely has shifted things a lot in the general population's perception. Most people have some kind of experience or inkling, or heard a story or read something somewhere that was like, yeah, even if it just goes into the subconscious. Movement forward and change. Movement forward and change. I think a lot of this is keeping talking about it as well. Keep it out there as well. Keep watching those videos. Keep it out there. It really has brought about this change, like we saw in the last video. It really has brought about a shift. I really do get that. I just got 50% there. A 50% shift. I'm not really sure what that means, because I know before we got a lot more people were awake than... Oh, thank you. Okay. My guides had just told me what they meant. There was a lot more than 50% of the population awake. It's a 50% shift in those that are not awake. That's what they've just said to me. I can't remember what we got in the last time we looked at it. People are seeing things differently. It might be uncomfortable, but it's just about that adjustment period, isn't it? So if you have anyone around you who's hearing this and who's a little bit upset about it, just give them a bit of time. I think that's the message here. Right, we've only got... I think that's covered it. I had so much more. I thought we were going to be going to so much more into depth, but I really had no idea of this. So let me just finish off with my last two questions. What are my last two questions here? Right, there's been a lot of talk. I think a lot of this has shifted people's perceptions and put, if nothing more, a seed of doubt in people's heads. There's been a lot of talk about Amber's baby, especially being as we've just had all this stuff about Meghan's baby. Do you remember she had the baby doll and everyone was saying, oh, that's a baby doll. And then they were saying that the child was different. I think basically what we're seeing here is people really starting to look at these things. So let's have a look generally what Spirit wants to say about these comments about Amber Heard's baby. Like you never see the baby's face and they're swapping the baby out. So let's have a look, because we know that's true. We know she's not got a baby. That's what I'm assuming. Oh, she might have a baby. But this, no, maybe not. She may have used a surrogate. I think that's what we see a lot, isn't it? It was all about Elon Musk, wasn't it? And her tricking him into having a baby, and now he's got to clean up all her mess or something. Lies being exposed. Lies being exposed. Well, we're going to be happy about that, aren't we? Lies being exposed. Not yet though. It seems to take quite a while. Let's just enjoy what we've got so far, because it's been quite a couple of weeks, hasn't it? Yeah, we'll move things forward. I think people are quite on the fence about it now. See, this is the motherhood card, but this is walking away from. I can't imagine Amber Heard having a baby, ever. She may have used a surrogate, or it could just be... I'm not saying it couldn't be just hired children. Let's ask that specific question. Is it her baby? Is it her and Elon Musk's baby? I think this is a white hat op. Amber Heard is a clone, isn't she? Clones are not going to be able to have children. That's what I got anyway. Amber Heard's a clone. Well, sorry. They're using a clone. Amber Heard's on the run somewhere, so it doesn't matter whose baby or not baby that she's had. I don't believe she would. She personally would have a baby, but I believe that's a clone that we're seeing. So it all is a front, isn't it? Walking away from motherhood we got, didn't we? Walking away from motherhood. I don't imagine Amber Heard would have ever had a baby. That's why it's confusing, because we were asking about Amber Heard, but who are we talking about? Are we talking about the image that we've been seeing, or are we talking about the actual Amber Heard? That's why we were getting a confusing answer. That can't have been a real baby. That must have been hired, and it will come out at some point. Right, I've got one more question. This has been quite a roller coaster, hasn't it? This never goes how I expect it to go when we're doing this, but then that's how Spirit is, isn't it? They're always going to surprise you. Now, I was asked a question in a comment. Was Johnny Depp swapped out in the 90s? And I want to add a little bit onto that. And by who? I mean, is this a human being or is this a clone? I don't believe it would have been a clone, because if he was swapped out, whoever that was a pretty damn good actor. I think. I'm not sure where when the Pirates were filmed. I'm pretty sure it was after the 90s. They've been quite recent, haven't they? We've got love coming out here. Was Johnny Depp swapped out in the 90s? I am actually going to say no, but wait there. I get why someone would think that. I get why that would be suspected. The first card that came out was the card all about love and uprushing of love. I don't believe he was swapped out. There's nothing in here to say that he was swapped out at all. I understand there was a change in him or his energy at that point. I don't know whether he may have gone away, is what I'm getting. and a clone stood in for him. There was some kind of argument or dispute with the Black Hats at this point. This may have been the point where he was wanted out, but at this point it would have been too late for him to get out. He's clearly struggling and distressed here about this. I believe that he came back probably in defence of his family. Obviously they would have suffered if he'd have just vanished, but I am not getting him being, well, yes, he, in that sense, yes, he was swapped out and a clone was used to come in to replace him, but he did come back and make a fresh start. Now, from these last 3 cards being so positive, I would wonder whether he'd made, this was the point he'd made a deal with the White Hats. That's the feeling that I'm getting. When he went, he must have approached or been found by the Black Hats and jumped on that. Now, I know they didn't step in with this again until recently, but I think they know that it's not so easy to get out of this, and they can use that if they know that someone's on their side or willing to come over. It's easier to come back to that. So thank you so much for that comment. That was very interesting. I did get kind of a feeling when I read that, oh, I wonder whether he was swapped out. But I wasn't really convinced that he was. So I do believe that is the real Johnny Depp. But he was swapped out. But that's interesting to know that he had a falling out with the Black Hats, went off, was contacted by the White Hats, went over to them, and then carried on as he had to, but differently, freshly, differently, with a different perspective. I suppose he would do, wouldn't he? Because he wouldn't be stuck in that anymore, would he? Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really genuinely did enjoy that. I didn't expect that to go how it went, but isn't that usually the way when you're working with spirit? I'm so glad that I looked into this information. This has been really interesting for me. I hope it's been interesting for you too, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.